Hi everyone, welcome you all to the Couchbase conference. I am Sanjana Agarwal working as a software consultant at Nordus is going to present a session on data modeling in JSON. So before moving towards what basically data modeling is, let's know something about Nordus. So Nordus is a team of passionate technologists with the product mindsets who work along with the business to deliver solutions at the speed of competitive advantages. Our main capabilities are around reactive products, IoTs, microservices, APIs, data science and DevOps. So this is the agenda of today's discussion that what is basically data modeling, normalization approaches, JSON, what, when and why, modeling entities in JSON, structural choices, cardinality and relationships. So before moving towards what basically data modeling in Couchbase, we should know that what is data modeling. So basically data modeling is a process of creating a data model for the data to be stored in a database. This data model is a conceptual representation of data objects, the association between different data objects and the rules. The data model is defined as an abstract model that organizes data descriptions, data semantics, and consistency constraints of data. The data model emphasizes on what data is needed and how it should be organized instead of what operations will be performed on that data. And if we'll talk about data modeling, in case of data modeling, we can perform two diagrams, or we can say that we can create two diagrams. First is the ER diagram and other is the UML diagram. And basically what is ER diagram is its entity relationship diagram. So let's talk about the Couchbase data model. Couchbase data model provides a lightweight, flexible schema which can be progressively evolved by applications over time with the following defined traits. So what we can say is in case of data modeling, we have some traits like the entities, relationships and cardinality. So let's move towards that what these traits are. So if we'll talk about entities, so entities like we can take an example that we have an owner and a pet. So what basically we have is that the owner is an entity and a pet is also an entity. Okay, so what basically having is the owner will have some attributes like owner will have a name, owner will have some email address like phone numbers, same as the pet will have a name, a type of pet. So these are the attributes of a specific entities. Then we have second is relationships. So what basically happen is that in case of owner and a pet, we have a relationship like owner has a pet. So this is a kind of relationship between the entities we have in our like in a project. So we need to make sure that every entity is having a relationship with any other entity. Okay, then we have cardinality. So like cardinality, if we talk about cardinality, so we have cardinality in the form like one to one, one to many, many to one. So if we'll talk about like if we can take an example of owner and pet. So like I'm not a big fan of pets, but if someone is a big fan of pet, in that situation one person can have n number of pets. Like one owner can have dog, cat, bat, rat. So this is the relationship between one to many, or what we can say that a single dog is having many owners. That suppose in a family we have parents, children, that one dog will have many owners. Like parents will handle that dog, children will handle that dog. So this is a relationship between n to 1. Okay. So now what we have discussed is that every data modeling will have few traits like the entities, relationships, and the cardinality. So now the next question is that how we have moved to the data modeling part. So there are three phases which every data or every record has to face when it moves to the like in an actual world, when it will reach to the actual world, or in we can say that in development world. So first phase is the conceptual model. So conceptual model we can say is like conceptual modeling. When we are performing the conceptual modeling, this is a scenario where the project manager, like the owner, developers, testers, everyone can sit together and can just draw a rough diagram. So basically in case of conceptual model, we will have some entities and the relationship among these entities, and just keeping those things in mind, we just create a random diagram on papers, so that we can say that it's just a rough diagram. It doesn't like we can't consider it the final diagram, because that diagram is being considered in the presence of like the project owner, like the members of the team as well. Okay, so now we have seen that we have created the rough diagram. So of course that rough diagram we need to make into a perfect diagram so that we can use in our development phases as well. So for that we have the logical phase. In case of logical phase, what we basically do is we take that specific like rough diagram which we have created in the conceptual model, and on the basis of that rough diagram our next step is to select the technologies which we can use. And there might be a possibility that we have hundred of entities and all those entities have some relationship among them, and for that we need to choose a different technology. So before starting the development, it's really important that we should know that which type of technology we want to use in a project. So in this case, in the logical model, or we can say the logical design, we need to select our technologies on the prior basis so that we can start the development. Now what we have done is we have created the rough diagram, we have selected our technologies. So what should be the next step? Next step is the development. So in case of physical model, we move to the development part, like I have the keys, the entities, the relationship among the entities, the cardinality. So the next step is let's start moving the development. So in case of physical design on the physical model, we will start our designing. Okay, so now what we have seen is we have seen what basically data modeling is, and how we basically perform operations, the phases which we have to consider while performing the data modeling, so that we can move to the like good perfect diagram which we can use for the development. So in this case we have to perform the normalization as well. So now here is a question, like how should you store your data, as mapping heavily normalized data to object is expensive? Can we perform join, aggregate, and cache operation? If no, then why create so much impedance? Basically, now the question arises that when we are performing the normalization, I'll tell you later on that how we perform the normalization. Just consider it that normalization is a step in which we have a data, and like we perform some operations just to reach to a minimized stage, and somehow that stage, just to achieve that stage, it is expensive. Like if you want to perform some operations and reach to that stage, it will be expensive. It will affect in a cost, in a cost wise. Then and we can perform the joins, aggregations, and caches operation. Then what is the need of creating the data in a normalized way, which will be expensive for us, and at the end it will create impedance as well. So now here the question arises, if we don't want to normalize our data, then what we should pick, like how we should store our data, and for that what we should do is, so here the simple thing which come in my mind is that we can store our data in the JSON format. Like now you guys will think about it what basically JSON format is, so I'll tell you in the later slides. Now just let's consider is that JSON is just a key value pair, or we can say in stored in the objects format as well, so that it would be easy to interchange that JSON type of records on the network. Now we have few things in our mind that earlier we were using the relational databases. Now we have chosen the Couchbase, like a NoSQL databases. So of course there will be some disadvantages of using the relational databases. Then that's why we have moved to the NoSQL databases like Couchbase, and there are other NoSQL databases as well. So now let's see the difference between traditional relational databases model and the NoSQL databases. So the first thing is that in case of traditional relational databases, we don't have any, we have schemas. Okay, I was saying in a wrong way. Like in case of relational databases, which we were using earlier, we were having schema. So as we all know that in case of relational databases, the prior thing is we need to create the table. So of course, when we are creating the table, it's basically defined, we are basically defining the schema that my record will be in this form. Okay, and my record can never cross the limitation of that table or the fees which we have defined in that schema. In case of relational databases, this scenario has occurred, but in case of NoSQL databases, so for better understanding, I'm taking the Couchbase example. So basically in case of Couchbase, we don't have any specific schema. We can store the record in any format. Suppose there might be possibility that one record is considering 4 fields and other record is considering million of fields in a single document. So that might be the scenario as well in case of Couchbase. And the second thing is that in case of relational databases, we have to perform the normalization so that we can reach to a perfect table which will contain single record at a time. But in case of Couchbase, we don't need to perform the we don't need to perform the normalization. It will contain the data in the denormalized form. Okay, and in case of relational databases, that might be the possibility that we have a record, we have record in a single row. Okay, which means that a single record will be present at a single location. But in case of Couchbase, that might be the possibility that we have multiple records, or we have single record multiple times. That might be the scenario in Couchbase or the NoSQL databases. So these are the difference between Couchbase and the relational databases. And most of the NoSQL databases works in the same scenario, that it doesn't have any schema, creates the multiple copy of the records, does not perform any normalization on the data. So whenever we are performing any operation, we should keep these things in mind, and on the basis of these things, we should select our database. So that's the prior information when we want to perform any designing. So as I told you, in the logical phase, we have to choose the technologies. So at that time, we have to decide our databases as well. Then, as we have discussed that we have some data and we need to perform the normalization as well. But have you ever think about it that, okay, in nowadays we are talking about that we have record and we don't need to denormalize it, but still we have the normalized benefits and the normalized approach, still we have those things. So like we can think about it that nowadays we have NoSQL databases, a lot of NoSQL databases are present, but still we have relational databases. So what we can say is that in today's world, we have a lot of NoSQL databases, but still there are some use cases which are best suited for the relational databases. So in that scenario, it's really required that we should use the relational databases and perform the operation accordingly. Okay, so now let's move to the benefits of normalized approaches and denormalized approaches as well. So if we talk about the normalized approaches, we can say that one item will be present at a one location. Okay, so what does that mean is that we have single record which will be present at a single location. Okay, then we don't have any duplicate records, which means that as I told you that one item will be present at a one location. So how can this be possible that record will be duplicated? Of course, a single record will be present at a single location and one time only. And somehow we can say that it preserves storage resources as well. So that's the only advantage is where we want to perform the normalization, because in case of relational databases, we have storage problems. But in case of NoSQL databases, or we can say in case of denormalized data, we don't need to take care about the storage spaces as well. So that's why we have a single record multiple times. There, the only benefit or the only thing which we have in our mind is that we need to store, or we need to retrieve the data as soon as possible. So in case of denormalized, the only thing we have to take care is that if you want to access any data, it would be retrieved in a no minute. Like it shouldn't take any seconds or in like no delay. We just retrieved it as soon as possible. So that's why we need to keep a record multiple times. So as what we have discussed it, we have discussed what basically data modeling is and the phases which we need to make sure that we have to we need to follow those phases so that we can have some good perfect diagram which we can use for the development. Then we have seen that there are some benefits of using the normalized data and denormalized data as well. But there are, of course, in case of normalized data, it is expensive. So that why we have moved to the denormalized data. Okay, but now the question arises that when we are performing when we want to perform the denormalization on the record, or we can say that we don't want to perform any normalization on the record. In that sense, in which form we want to store our record? So we can say that in this scenario, my data will be present in the JSON format. And what basically JSON format is? JSON format is basically the JavaScript object notation, or what we can say that it's a lightweight data interchange originally for JavaScript, and it doesn't depend on any specific language. And in case of object, or we can say that in case of JSON, we have some key value pairs and lists. So what we can say is that when we want to perform any operations and we don't want to denormalize our data, so it's really perfect to keep our data in the JSON formats. And JSON format, what basically it's a key value pair. We will have some keys, and for that keys we have some values, and that might be possible that we have some list, and that list will contain some similar type of records, or like different type of records as well. And same as it's basically generated from the JavaScript. So what we can say is that there were two structural types, objects and arrays. So now the question arises that like what are these things, like why we want to store our data in two formats like objects and arrays. So basically, as we know that, as hope everyone is aware about it, that what basically array is considered as a list of elements that, and that list can be of same types or can be of different type, and all those elements are being stored in the braces. Sorry, basically those are known as the brackets. So we have the brackets, and in that brackets we have multiple records, and those multiple records can be of same type and it can be of different type as well. But in case of objects, we have some key value pairs. So what I mean to say by this is that we have some keys and values. For every key we may have some values, and all those records, or like all those key value pairs, are being stored in the braces, curly braces. So what we can say is that object can have million of keys and values. But yeah, of course, when the record will increase, the speed somehow will decrease as well. So we need to make sure this thing that we can divide our objects or like keywords in two formats, or like we can say in two documents, so that we can easily retrieve our record and can perform the operation on on the quick access. So now here we have seen what basically JSON is and why we need to use the JSON. But now the question is that, is JSON helpful? And the answer should be yes. JSON is helpful because with the help of JSON we can easily interchange the data in the network, and we can easily map the key value pairs in the fields format and can easily retrieve our record on like quick access. Okay, so now what we have seen is that what basically JSON is and how we are storing our record in the JSON format. So now we should know this, that in case of Couchbase, we organized our data in the JSON format. But what we basically say is that in case of Couchbase, we have documents. But now, no, but we should know this, that the JSON is, oh, sorry. I mean to say is that in case of Couchbase, as we know that we have documents, and those documents are a combination of JSON, and that JSON may consist of objects and arrays. As I told you earlier, that JSON can have the objects and the arrays. So what we can say is that in case of Couchbase, we have documents, and those documents will contain the record in the JSON format, and that JSON format can consist the key value pairs and the arrays as well. So now in these slides, we can see that how does Couchbase organize data. As I told you that in case of Couchbase, we can organize our data in the key value pairs or in the documents. Then the next thing is that as we know that in case of relational databases, we were having a key. Okay, and what basically key is? Key is something unique by which we can extract the specific record or a specific row from the table. So of course, there should always be something unique by which we can extract the records. So in case of Couchbase, we are having the natural keys and the surrogate keys. So first we should know is that what basically natural key is. So natural key is that when we are performing any operation or like storing a record of a specific entity, so there might be a possibility that specific entity will have something unique. So that unique entity or that unique attribute is being considered as a natural key. So suppose, as I was talking about the owner and a pet example, so there might be a possibility that owner may have some unique number and some voter ID card, or like as I'm from India, so in case of India, we have the voter ID cards and the Aadhaar cards. So these are unique. Okay, so every member will have its own Aadhaar card and its own voter ID card. So these should be unique. Such type of things can be considered as a natural key. Okay. And so now what we have selected is we have selected our natural keys. So next question should be that what is surrogate key? So there might be a possibility that we have some entities, but that entity doesn't have any unique thing or unique attributes. So of course we can't rely that okay, we will store the records in our documents or like in a table or in a bucket, and we will retrieve it when we want to. But no, that's not the scenario. There should be something unique by which we want to extract our data, and by only that we can extract our data. But of course, as in our entity, we don't have something unique. So next step is like what next thing should be come in our mind is okay, then we have to generate something which will be unique. So these are the things which we can perform is like we can generate the UUID, we can take the counter, like suppose I have stored first record, so I can give the counter 1 to it. Whenever I'm going to store the second records, I can give it the counter 2. Okay, so now as we have seen is that we were having, in case of Couchbase, we have the records in the JSON formats. So next thing is what should come in our mind is that modeling entities in JSON, how we perform modeling entities in JSON. But so for that we should know is basically entities, an object model in a database management system so that information about its states and relationship may be persisted. So as we know that in case of database, what we are basically doing is we are persisting some record. Okay, so we have some database management system which takes care about it, that we have stored the state and relationship in a database. So basically entity will have some states, which means its attributes and the relationship among the entities, among the different entities, and all those information should be stored in the database. So it depends on our requirement that where we want to store it. There are different other storage things as well. So if suppose we want to store it in the Couchbase, then we can store that record or that entity in any format or in we want. Okay, so next thing is that how can entities be described in JSON? So next thing which what we like what should come in our mind is that how can we describe our record in JSON? So it depends on few things like the structural boundaries of the records of the entities, and basically yeah, so what we should know is the structural boundaries of an entity. So now let's move to the structural choices. So whenever we want to perform the data modeling in JSON, we have to keep few things in our mind is like these are the things which these are the choices which we should have in our mind when we want to perform any operations. So like the key and document size, update atomicity, update complexity, strength of entity relationship, complexity of code mapping. So let's move to these things one by one. First is key and document size. So as its name suggests that it depends on the size, that the size of a document should never exceed. Okay, next is update atomicity. So as we know that in case of relational databases, we were having the asset properties. Now we have asset properties in our Couchbase as well. So what basically is asset properties? A stands for atomicity. So by atomicity, I mean is that every operation I'm performing should perform in a single go. Like suppose if I want to retrieve some record, like if I want to retrieve some amount from my bank account, so of course it will never give a good impression to the end user if he or she went to the bank or to the ATM just to retrieve some records and some money is being deducted from his or her account, but he or she didn't get the money. So of course it doesn't give a good impact and can help can like it can be a panic situation for a person as well. So we don't want such scenarios to happen in our database or an application. So for that, we should keep our record in a such a way that it can perform or it can achieve the atomicity, which means that it can perform the operation in a single go. Like it doesn't need to find the record; it can find a single record in the same document. Then we have update complexity. So suppose we like I have kept few record here, kept few record in a single other document. So there might be a possibility that keeping the records in a different document has created the complexity. So we should keep these things in mind as well, that if it's creating the complexity, let's create everything in a single document. Okay, strength of entity relationship, and it depends on the entity relationship strength as well. So if the relationship strength is strong, then it's required that we should keep all those records in a single document. Okay, so now what we have seen is that what choices we should make when we are performing the like data modeling in JSON. So as we know that in case of JSON, we may have some relationship and cardinality as well. So if we'll talk about the relationship in JSON, in case of relationship, we may have two type of relationship like embed and refer. As its name suggests, embed means that suppose we may have like records like we can take an example that embed okay, like I have taken the example of atomicity, like we want to perform some operation in a single go. So there might be a possibility that we need to keep all those information in a single document, as we know that in case of Couchbase we have documents, and those document contains the JSON format, like the JSON record. So what should happen is that every record or every entity should be present in a single document. So like the next thing is that it should come in your mind that why I have said that every record or every entity should present in a same document. Of course it would be present in a same document, but no, in case of documents, like in case of Couchbase we have documents. So as I told you that in case of every database we may have something unique. So every document will have some document ID. So what we can do is we can kept some record in a different document and kept some record in a different document, and can connect them by and something unique, so that whenever we want to extract some data, we know that okay, the left of the part or like the rest of the part is being present at the different document, and we can fetch it. So basically this is a scenario of refer. As I told you that in case of JSON, we have the relationships in two ways, like embed and refer. Embed means that the same type of records, or like just to achieve the atomicity, just to reduce the complexity, every record should present in a same documents. So this is the example of embed. Then we have the example of refer, that if we don't have the complex records, or like mm, we don't care much about like complexity and speed, then what we can do is we can kept our record on different positions, and whenever it's being required, one document can extract the record from the second document and can make like can make our application fast. It somewhere it helps in making our application fast as well. Suppose if we are keeping the same record, we are keeping 50 or 100 of fields in a same document, so somehow it can reduce the complex, like somehow the complexity will increase. As the complexity will increase, so searching can be slowed down. So if we will kept a record in a different position or a different document, we can increase the speed as well. And then we have the cardinality. So in case of JSON, the cardinality can be performed in two ways, like one to one and one to many. So in case of one to many, we can perform the embed and refer both the relationship. It depends on the requirement of the user. And in case of one to one, yes, we can perform the embed and refer both. So basically, in case if we talk about the cardinality, so it depends on the requirement of the user as well. So it's totally depends on the requirements. Okay, so these are the general guidelines which we should keep in mind whenever we are trying to populate our data in the documents, or in the form of a documents, or in the form of a JSON. So when might you embed data in the same documents, and when might you refer from one document to another? So yeah, as I told you that examples of embed and refer, then we should keep these things in our mind that when we want to embed the data in a same documents. So like I told you that when we want to perform the atomicity, we should kept the same record in the same documents. And when it doesn't matter that like we have multiple records and we want to keep the record in a different document, so that we can increase the performance or increase like speed up things. So here we can perform the refer things as well. Okay, so thank you everyone for taking out your time and listening me. So if you have any queries or questions, this is my LinkedIn profile and this is my mail address. You can ask me at any time. Thank you.